This is staggering. It's going to be the most significant geopolitical event in history. Anybody who doesn't like gold right now is economically illiterate.
Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we deliver mining insights and bullion sales in the form of physical delivery, offshore depositories, and private blockchain distributed ledger technology.
Welcome to Proven and Probable. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson. Today we will discuss the Fed, the coronavirus, and your investment portfolio. Joining us for a conversation is Bob Moriarty, a world-renowned best-selling author and founder of the websites 321 Gold and 321energy.com. Mr. Moriarty, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Always a pleasure, sir. In our last interview in January, we discussed bursting bubbles. Since then, we've had two significant developments. The first, by the Federal Reserve implementing an emergency haircut of 50 basis points, and the second is the outbreak of the coronavirus. Bob, the Fed is saying to the citizens, we had to reduce rates because of the coronavirus. Was a Fed haircut warranted because of the coronavirus or because something else that they're not telling us?
I've said it 3 or 4 articles recently. Governments lie, and they lie about everything. Anybody that wants to can go back to my site, go to the archives, and on the 1st of January, I put out a piece saying, beware the stock market, and I said the bubble was going to burst. We had the highest measure in the fear and greed index that we've ever had. And all you had to do is look at that one indicator and say the everything bubble was going to pop soon. The Fed has painted themselves into a corner, and they're trying to pump up the stock market using interest rates, and it's always worked in the past. And I've said multiple times, these things work right up until the time they don't. And clearly now it hasn't worked, and things are going to get far worse. We are just starting the crash. We're not at the end of the crash.
You know, speaking of that crash, now, how does the coronavirus fit into the narrative here?
It's the biggest black swan in history. It's far more dangerous than the governments are telling you. Let me give you some numbers I just pulled up. On February 29th, the U.S. had 68 confirmed cases. Now they have 338. That's 4.9 times in 1 week. Germany had 79. Now they have 670. That's an increase of 8.5 times in 1 week. France had 100 then. They have 653 now. The best estimates that I've seen indicate the lowest number of deaths will be around 15 million. And that's on the low side. This thing is twice as deadly as the Spanish flu of 1918, and that killed somewhere between 40 and 100 million people.
I can't even imagine this scenario here, but what kind of impact will this have on the global economy, basically?
Well, the global economy, as I just said, was a bubble searching for a pin, and it just ran into a giant pin, but it was going to burst anyway. We're going to go through a crash. It's far worse than 2008. And that would be true if there was a coronavirus or there wasn't a coronavirus. Some of the things that are right in front of us that everybody's ignoring us, 80 to 90% of medications come from China. And China is going to be shut down for the next 3 to 6 months. This is staggering. It's going to be the most significant geopolitical event in history.
We're going to discuss some investment opportunities in a moment, but what are some common sense precautionary actions that you're taking that should things turn for the worse?
Well, it's really funny. Okay, it's already turned for the worst. I'm over 70, and I'm in a very high risk category, and my solution is to stay off the grid for 3 to 6 months. I've spent the last month preparing, and I can stay off the grid for 3 to 6 months. But things as simple as toilet paper, hand sanitizer, medication, these are all things that should be available now, but in a week they won't be.
Well, moving on to investment opportunities, let's begin with TriStar Gold. You had boots on the ground there on a site visit in Para State, Brazil. I know you have some exciting intel to share with us. Sir, please introduce us to TriStar Gold.
Well, it's funny. In some ways, you know more about it than I do. We all flew in Sao Paulo, and then we took a 2-hour jet to somewhere, literally, and I never did figure out where we went. And then we took an hour and a half flight in a small airplane. So you know it's in Para State. If you asked me to locate it on a map of Brazil within 500 miles, I really couldn't do it. I mean, I feel totally ignorant. But it's a really interesting deposit. It's a conglomerate deposit, which Quentin Henney is easily the world's best expert on. It was interesting to me because I thought I had a pretty good clue as to how conglomerate systems worked. And basically, they got a big plateau, and every creek running off the plateau had been mined by Garrett Perel miners. And a major came in and said, look, there's got to be some gold there. So they drilled and proved up a resource, and yes, there was gold there, and yes, it was economic. And then they walked away, and TriStar picked up the property. They got a resource. They know exactly how to drill, and it's just it's one of the best teams that I've seen in a company for a long time. They've got some really strong Brazilian geologists, and I was really impressed with the company. And I was very impressed with Quentin because I thought I knew conglomerate systems. And he sat down and gave us a 30-minute briefing, and I learned a lot of things that I frankly didn't know. So I participated in a placement, and I really liked the company.
Now, in your opinion, talk to us about the potential size and scale of the project.
Probably 2 to 3 million ounces.
That big, huh?
Yeah.
But don't take Bob's word for it. Royal Gold is a stakeholder in TriStar, which speaks volumes on the opportunity, potential, and scale before us. We had an opportunity to interview CEO Nick Appleyard back in August. It's a really compelling story. And you can find the interview on our website under exclusive interviews entitled TriStar Gold Project in Brazil offers simplicity and potential scale. Staying in the southern hemisphere, let's visit the Congo, where you just introduced L'Encore Resources. Sir, who is L'Encore Resources, and what is the opportunity they present to the market?
Here's what's absolutely amazing. I'm glad you brought that up. They approached me. I had never even heard a whisper of the name. I had no clue as to who they were. And I went looking into it. They have an incredibly massive land position in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the DRC. Barrick has several gold mines there in the Greenstone Belt, and across the border in Tanzania, Barrick has some of their other really giant mines. L'Encore has, in their wholly owned properties, resources of about 2.4 million ounces. and they've got a JV with Barrick on a big piece of their property, like 3,000 square kilometers, which is really a giant project. Barrick is funding it to feasibility. They're paying everything. Barrick is running the project, and Barrick is spending the money. There's no particular limits on what Barrick can spend. They can spend anything they want to. They've got a drill program that's literally starting right now. If you look at any stock, you want to figure out what the basement is. What is the lowest price stock could go to? If you ignored the JV with Barrick, which would be a foolish thing to do, but if you ignored it, you're buying ounces of gold in the ground for $19 an ounce US. So I don't think there's any downside to it. About 70-something% of shares are in the top 3 or 4 shareholders. I think it's a great stock, because if you like gold, and I think after all of the things that I've said over the last 15 years, anybody who doesn't like gold right now is economically illiterate.
You said that lightly, $19 an ounce.
Yeah. I mean, how can you go? At the stage they're operating, they should be getting $50 or $60 an ounce. Now, one of the things that we haven't gotten into, and we need to get into, is one, the T-bond, and two, what I see happening to gold and gold shares. The T-bond DSI on Friday hit 98. That is the highest reading I've seen on the daily sentiment indicator for any commodity ever. Therefore, on Monday, the T-bond's going to crash. It's probably going to take gold with it. Gold had a DSI of 96 here a couple of weeks ago, and everybody hates this. They act like, oh my God, if you say that gold's going down, my God, I hate you. But corrections are perfectly normal, and we're going to have a correction in gold, and we're going to have a correction in palladium, and we're going to have a correction in rhodium. We are going to go into the biggest crash, financial crash, in world history, and most asset classes are going to get sold off. And that's not a bad thing. That creates opportunity. But you've got to be flexible and hopefully liquid. Now, I am not saying go out and sell everything you've got. Every time I say we're going to have a crash, oh my God, you told me to sell everything. Well, no, that's not what I said at all. So we're going to have a correction. At the end of the correction, gold and silver and platinum are going to be a lot more valuable. We are going to do exactly what we did in 2008. And a lot of stocks were down 70 or 80%. Most of the big ones, the ones I like, Lion One, Novo Resources, Irving, Barksdale Capital, these stocks are down 30 or 40% since the first of the year, when I said beware of the stock market. So it's not, I'm not saying something's going to change on Monday with gold shares. Gold shares have been going down for 2 months.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. And talk to us briefly about those parameters that you're looking at. Basically, when it's above 95 to 100, this is an opportunity, is what you're sharing with us, because you indicated the numbers 96 and 98 on the T-bond and gold on the DSI.
Yeah, basically, here's what it is. The DSI measures sentiment. Now, what everybody forgets, they look at fundamentals, they look at technicals, they worry about the interest rates, they worry about the Fed. That's all bullshit. Okay? People buy stocks because of emotions, and they sell stocks because of emotions. And if you can measure those emotions accurately, you can make a lot of money. When 98 out of 100 people say something is going to go up, and it doesn't make any difference what it is, or what the fundamentals are, or what the Fed does, or what the economy does, or what interest rates do, when 98 out of 100 people say something is going to go up, the next move is down. That is the highest number I've ever seen. And it's kind of anything above 90 says the top is near, and anything below 10 says the bottom is near. 98 is such an extreme measure that I'm perfectly comfortable saying you and I are talking on Saturday, and on Monday T-bonds are going to crash.
Mark the words there. Which metals have your attention and why?
Silver and platinum. Strange enough, you sent me some information. There was a fire, an explosion at a platinum processing place in South Africa. And the real story is the price of platinum is so far below the cost of production, they got to shut production in. And nobody wants to admit this. Everybody's got their pet bullshit theory, but the fact is supply and demand doesn't work, and you cannot have the price of any commodity below the cost of production for very long, or things are going to happen and people are going to shut in production, whether it's wheat, whether it's gold, or anything else. The silver-gold ratio got above 100 to 1. That's the highest it's ever been. I think it got up to 102 intraday a week ago. Silver is very cheap relative to gold, but that doesn't mean silver couldn't correct. I own a lot of silver, and I own a lot of gold. A lot of platinum, and a little bit of gold.
And just as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a licensed representative for Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments. So for your next bullion purchase, please give me a call, and that's going to be at 855-505-1900, or you may email me at contact@provenandprobable.com. In closing, sir, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I knew that one would get you there.
Actually, here's what's really funny, and you're going to hate me for saying this. I was a fighter pilot when I was 20 years old. I'm really good in emergencies, and nothing keeps me up at night because I can see things clearly in advance. I am going to take credit. I saw the stock market crashing. I said it was going to crash on January 21st. On January 27th, I said the coronavirus was going to be a nuclear explosion to the world's economy. On February 27th, I repeated that and said the Greatest Depression is here. This is no drill. I am going to take credit. I absolutely called it correctly. And anyone who is not prepared better fucking get prepared now. I'm prepared, so I sleep really well.
And likewise, you and I have been having a lot of correspondence in between interviews, as we always do, and we've had a lot of discussions in reference to preparation, and it makes a lot of sense. I think you said it best in, what was it? It's best to panic early. You said something to that on one of our...
Yeah. Here's the deal. If you are inclined to panic, you always want to panic early.
That was it. All right, sir. Last question. What did I forget to ask?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty comprehensive.
All right, sir. Bob, for someone listening that wants to get more information on your books and your work, please share the website addresses.
The website, of course, is 321gold.com, 321energy.com. And all you have to do is go to Amazon and feed in my name. And 6 of my books are listed there. And I will say, in hindsight, there are some things in life that should improve with age. Wine is one, good women is one, and good books. And books that I wrote 2 and 3 years ago are incredibly timely now, because much of what's happening today is stuff I was telling people how they could prepare for 2 and 3 years ago, and I'm quite proud of that. I mean, if somebody can't afford $15 for one of the books, they should go buy something valuable like marijuana stocks or Tesla or Bitcoin.
One of the inquiries I receive often after our interviews is, why do you always reference Bob's books? And my response is, you obviously haven't read them then. No, I haven't. And then they finally take the initiative to get one of your books. And then they're like, I get it. This man is brilliant. He's a genius. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, don't say that, because I don't actually believe that's true. Okay, I have the ability to think for myself, and I have the ability to take my thoughts and put them into very clear terms. Now, I would challenge anyone who's going to waste their valuable time listening to this, go to Amazon, pull up the reviews on basic investing and resource stocks. It has the highest reviews of any book that I've ever seen on Amazon. Now, it doesn't make a rat's ass what I think of the book. It doesn't make a rat's ass what you think of the book. What makes a rat's ass is, what do readers think of the book? And they all say, this is the best book I've ever read. And to that extent, I certainly do not need the $2 or $3 I get from a book. That's absolutely meaningless. But those are valuable books, and they will help you either make money or save money.
There you have it, folks. And as a reminder, I am a licensed representative for Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments, where we provide a number of options to expand your precious metals portfolio, from physical delivery, offshore depositories, precious metal IRAs, and private blockchain distributed ledger technology. Call me directly at 855-505-1900, or you may email contact@provenandprobable.com. Finally, please subscribe to provenandprobable.com, where we provide mining insights and bullion sales. Subscription is free. Bob Moriarty of 321 Gold and 321 Energy, thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable.
Anytime, Maurice. Thank you for the time.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.